ఆహాహా. అంటే మీరే కనపడుతుంటేను.
వస్తారు అందరు వస్తారు.
ఓకే సార్.
ఎక్కడి నుంచో పాటలు వస్తున్నాయి.
ఇది టీవీలో అండి.
మీ దగ్గర?
నా దగ్గర ఆ టీవీ నేను లోపలికి వస్తున్నా.
రండి. మీటింగ్ స్టార్ట్ అయింది.
ఇంకా స్టార్ట్ అయిందా?
అవుతుంది.
ఓకే సార్. అదే ముందు నేను ఈ మామూలు సెల్లో ఓపెన్ చేశాను. అందులో వస్తుందా రాదా అని వచ్చారు మీరు.
ఓకే సార్.
ట్యాబ్ లో
వెల్కమ్ సార్.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
టీమ్ ఈజ్ జాయినింగ్, విల్ ఇన్వైట్ దెమ్.
ఓకే సార్. ఇందులో బాగా కనిపిస్తుంది కదా?
నాకు కనిపిస్తుంది. ఓకే, మీరు మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి.
ఓకే అండి, అలాగన్నా. ఎక్కడ మ్యూటో తెలియట్లేదు ఇది మాత్రం.
నేను మ్యూట్ చేశాను.
డాక్టర్ నాగయ్య గారు, జై భీమ్.
గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్. గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్
సార్. మల్లెపల్లి సార్, నమో బుద్ధ, జై భీమ్.
సార్ రవి బంకర్ గారు, వెల్కమ్ సార్.
మల్లెపల్లి గారు, జై భీమ్ సార్. నేను ధనంజయ్.
జై భీమ్. బాగున్నారా?
బాగున్నాం సార్. సంతోషం, ఇది కండక్ట్ చేస్తున్నందుకు. బాగుంది టాపిక్.
ఇది దీని మీద ఇంకొక 2-3 ఉంటాయండి.
ఓకే సార్. అంటే సిరీస్ లో అయితే బాగుంటుంది.
రవి బంకర్ ప్లీజ్. No, nothing, sir. That is only yours. Everybody joined.
But why it is not actually starting?
Yeah, are you hearing, sir?
Okay.
Are you hearing?
Okay. Now, am I visible?
Yeah, are you visible? Are you audible? Everything, sir.
I'm audible also. Great. Yeah.
Sir, time now is at 7:02. We can start 7:10.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So, who's your audience now?
That all sections, sir. Buddhist, Dalit groups.
I see.
In general, Democrats.
Yeah.
It's a platform for every concerned people.
Yes.
About constitution, about rights, about whatever. There's nothing any one group.
Yes, all diverse groups are there.
The people of groups.
Diverse groups are there.
Diverse.
Yeah.
Not diverse. And it means concerned for the rights.
I'm to say they have actually sympathies and interest in Buddhism and Dalit.
I think I will call like concern.
Yeah, concern
for the people.
Yeah. So you're actually in the office?
Now this lecture will moderate Rajeshwar Rao Garu. He was a scientist in defense.
I see. Oh,
now he is very active in Buddhist movement in Telangana state, in all over India.
Good evening.
Rajeshwar Rao Garu is a very active from the, I think, in Engage also.
I see.
Very renowned Buddhist in Telugu states.
Ravi Bankar sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Sir, continues.
Ravi Bankar garu is a basic tourism and ecological things, and another thing is the area of Lions clubs, Rotary clubs, the social service mindset. He belongs to Nagpur. ఎనీవే రాజేశ్వర గారు, నేను అది మీకు రవిశంకర్ గారి బయోడేటా పంపిస్తా, మీరే ఇంట్రడ్యూస్
చేయండి సార్, మీరు చేయండి. స్టార్ట్ అయినారు కదా, మీరు చేసి మాకు
స్టార్ట్ కాలే ఇప్పుడు. Okay, I will introduce and give to you.
Yeah.
Dr. Naga garu, welcome sir. Sir, Miyomi, sir, please change your name, sir. That's
sir, he is Rajan garu, Amalapuram.
Rajan garu, please write your name, sir. If it is possible.
It is technically for him, it is some no problem.
AK Raja garu, welcome sir. Sir, please unmute, sir. Battala Srinivas garu, Professor Battala Srinivas from JNU. Dr. Reverend Praveen Kumar garu from Warangal.
Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya, sir. Namo Buddhaya. Prashant garu.
I am Rajan from Nagaram, near Amalapuram.
Thank you, sir. Only 4 minutes.
Sir, Lakshmi sir, Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya, sir.
Namo Buddhaya, sir.
Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya. And
good evening. I'm Prashant. I'm joining from Pune.
Good evening,
Sir,
Prashant.
Thank you very much, sir. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
Mr. Prashant Gajpie is a friend of mine. Actually, he is from Nagpur, but now settled in Pune and in Canada. Actually, I think he was earlier with the State Bank of India.
Shivanagi Reddy garu, welcome, sir.
Sir, namaste, sir. Namaste.
Sir. Thank you very much.
Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya, sir.
Jai Bhim, Jai Bharat.
Again,
Jai Telangana, Jai Andhra.
Vijayawada నుంచి వస్తున్నాను సార్, మధ్యలో ఉన్నా. But I shall not miss this talk. I shall not miss this talk.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, thank you, sir. ఎన్నాళ్ళైంది సార్ మిమ్మల్ని చూసి? ఎన్నాళ్ళైంది సార్?
Battala Srinivas garu, JNU, sir. AV Raj garu. Sir, మీరు
Jai Bhim, sir.
Jai Bhim.
Jai Bhim, sir. I am from Vijayawada, APSRTC.
Yes, sir. Tell sir, you are from Vijayawada, APSRTC. He is a very active in scheduled caste welfare movement, sir. Implies Raju garu, Ravinder Gaini.
Thank you, sir. Kind of you, sir.
KK Raja sir, Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya, sir.
Sir, KK Raja garu, please unmute 1 second. Please say hello to everybody, sir. Ravin garu unnara?
Sir, unna. Namaskaram, sir.
Namaste.
I am Praveen from Warangal.
Good evening, Praveen.
Good evening, sir, for everybody.
Good evening, Praveen sir.
Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya. I am KK Raja from Hyderabad, sir.
Sir,
Good evening.
KK Raja garu is very strong Buddhist, philanthropist, the
I see.
best human being.
Great.
That's it.
కేకే రాజా గారు నమస్కారం.
Namaste, sir. Namaste.
బెదవాడ నుంచి వస్తున్నా వెనక్కి.
Very nice, very nice.
Blazewada.
రేపు మాట్లాడు.
Blazewada అది Blazewada.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you, sir.
1 minute to go. Vinod garu, welcome sir.
Welcome, welcome. Actually, sorry, I was little away from another call.
No
So,
problem, no
ध्यान नहीं
problem.
रहता है.
Please give, be online, whatever you ever, wherever you.
I am, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Vinod Misra garu from IITS, Indian Institute of Dalit Studies. That's the institute headed by Professor Sukhdev Thorat. Sir, anyway, we can start, sir. Already we crossed 10 minutes.
If you want, we can wait for another 5 minutes.
No, sir.
No? Okay. All right.
Can go. Sir, welcome, sir. Welcome to all. This is the lecture series of Samvidhan Samalochan. This is the 9th lecture of this series. The topic is Buddhism and Indian Constitution. Speaker Mr. Ravi Bankar, founder and principal advisor of Genesis Leisure Consulting, Mumbai. This lecture will be moderated by Rajeshwar Rao Garu, the former defense scientist in the Buddhist society. But now these organizations are organizing this lecture. Center for Dalit Studies, Indian Institute of Dalit Studies, then National Alliance for Social Justice, Dalit Coalition, People's Campaign for Socio-Economic Equity, Dalit Baujan Front, National Movement for Land, Labor and Justice. I think I will introduce Professor Ravi Bankar Garu. He is basically is a founder of this consultant. Already I told. This tourism and leisure industry is he working from 35 years. His expertise lies on policy review, strategic planning, techno-economic feasibility study, tourism infrastructure planning, project management and business development. As a consultant and advisor, he had worked with various organizations, Ministry of Tourism, Culture, Ministry of Transport, ITD, World Bank, ASEAN Development. As a tourism professional, he strives to provide integrated approach problem solving of assist clients in developing strategies, enabling management. Then he is very close to international Buddhist movement like ABTO, Association of Buddhist Tour Operators. That's I'm heading as a president now. He's very close friend for me for I think 7-8 years. He's very warm person and he is very interested in Buddhism and Ambedkarism also. Even though he is a technocrat, all those things, but he is very much interested in this organization. Then another thing is I am introducing Rajeshwar Rao Garu. He was a defense scientist. He retired from the job and then he started Samatha Center in his own house. He developed one conference and all those things with free, all those Buddhist and even human rights Dalit groups also. He is now vice president of Buddhist Society of India Telangana chapter. I will not stay more than this. I will hand over to Rajeshwar Rao Garu to take over and continue this meeting. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, please unmute, sir. Unmute, sir. Meed unmute kaale. Right.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Jai Bhim Namo Buddhaya. We welcome our today's speaker, Sri Ravi Bankar sir. We are very happy to see him today. Before starting the meeting, this today's program is organized by Center for Dalit Studies, Hyderabad. It is established during 1999 with the efforts of Sri Mallepalli Lakshmaya Garu. The mission is to create social, political, and economic awareness among the people and work for the rights of the Dalit communities, build skills and capabilities to overcome all obstacles. This was the main objective in all political, social, and economic lines. This is the now today's topic is actually now I want to talk to you about our Mallepalli Lakshmi sir, who is backbone here. He is a senior journalist, as well as he was a special officer for this Buddhavanam project. That is the excellent project which has got international fame, and now it is an excellent Buddhist monument now in almost India, and internationally also it is a well-known place. His contribution, mostly his contribution, helped to come up the center in excellent fashion. He has contributed in many ways, but now as a Buddhist, we see him in these lines more. We congratulate him. He is conducting this particular subject, Buddhism and Constitution of India. This is a really a critical subject as on today, because the country is undergoing a turmoil on the name of religion, whether that is a particular religion or orthodox religion or a communal religion, whatever it is. But now the country is in doldrums. One way, the constitution is now there is no assurance for the constitution to continue. Whatever the old religious practices, old systems, the people behind those systems, they are eagerly waiting to destabilize this Indian constitution. That is one aspect. And with a religious motto, they want to destabilize this this secular concept also. Some people are trying to destabilize this nation. This is against the objectives of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The vision of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is not only development, his vision is to see the United Nation as one unity among all the people, one India, that is United India, not a communal India, not a religious India, not any specific line. It is United India with a secular concept and a social movement. But unfortunately, we are seeing some disturbances and polarization towards a majority religion practices, and threatening comes to all minority communities. Now, this is the time where we are connected with the religion as well as the constitution. Now, religious practices have came onto the road. Actually, religious practice should be attached to only the family, within the house. Unfortunately, now the religious practices has come into the politics as well as it is on the road now. Now we are really afraid of this situation. But anyhow, we have a lot of hope on Buddhism. Buddhism is the solution given by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. As long as Buddhism is alive and Buddhism is in practice, I don't think this India, nobody can destabilize this India. So this is the one aspect. Another aspect is Constitution of India is, as per according to the Baba Sahib Ambedkar statement, so he has declared it that the Constitution foundations are from Buddhism. So it is a great statement. All foundations to this democratic foundation, a secular foundation, or any equality, all these foundations are from Buddhism. So today we are really happy to connect this religious aspect of Buddhism and Buddhist teachings connected with the Constitution of India. Both are connected with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. I think today we are really proud of our Dalit studies for taking up such subjects which are on the need, the day of the need of the day. So I think we welcome our chief guest, Ravi Bankar Saab, to guide us in these lines between this Buddhism and the Constitution of India. How best we will be able to take these two units together to keep our country a united unit. Thank you very much, sir. Welcome to Ravi Bankar, sir. We welcome all the participants who joined this program. There are very, very senior members here. They are contributing in different lines. We welcome them and we request them to cooperate and contribute in whatever it is required. Okay, welcome, sir. Over to Ravi Bankar, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and good evening, and Namo Buddhaya. And thank you once again for inviting me to this lecture series. Today's presentation of the topic Buddhism and the Indian Constitution. By the way, am I audible properly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So in today's presentation of the topic Buddhism and the Indian Constitution, we shall try to explore how the tenets, the principles, and the philosophy of Buddhism had a profound influence on the making of the Indian Constitution. Or in other words, we shall try to gaze at the reflections of some of the significant Buddhist ideas on the making of the Indian Constitution, how these two diverse things related with each other during the making of the Indian Constitution. Now, we all know that the framers of the Indian Constitution were inspired by many ideas, many traditions, many constitutions across the world, and many resources. And Buddhism was one of the immense importance to the framers of the Constitution, especially the chairman of this drafting committee, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Baba Saheb Ambedkar. So on 25th November 1949, a day before the Constitution was adopted, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the chairman of the drafting committee, vehemently argued that India must strive to be a social democracy and not merely a political democracy. Social democracy, he noted, is a way of life which recognizes liberty, equality, and fraternity as the principles of life. Indian history has had since ancient times a contradicting parallel in Vedic tradition and Shramana tradition. The Shramana tradition arose as a movement parallel to Vedic tradition, focusing on asceticism, that is, the wandering life. The monks used to wander from one place to another in search of spiritual enlightenment. A renunciation from the worldly affairs. They were not attached to the worldly matters and the pleasures of the world. Meditation and the pursuit of spiritual liberation. Shramana tradition was also referred as heterodox movement, not conforming to accepted or orthodox Vedic beliefs. They were quite different, or we can say they were in contradiction with the Vedic beliefs. They had their own ideas of spiritual attainment. So Shramana traditions such as Buddhism, Jainism, Ajivikas, the Nath tradition, and the others had values that were socially inclusive and had practices that went against the Vedic norms, especially the rigid caste hierarchy, the authority of the priest, especially the Brahmins or the Brahmanism, and the elaborate rituals being performed during the various ceremonies by the Vedic practitioners. Now, Buddha was not just a spiritual teacher, though he attained the spiritual enlightenment, but he was also a social critic and a revolutionary social theorist. He's also considered a social reformer who challenged the Vedic religious orthodoxy. Buddha also reacted against the social structure made up of the 4 varnas or castes, which denied individual liberty, equality, and human freedom. It was in this context that Buddhism came up with a strong message of equality, empathy, which is the understanding of others, and egalitarianism. Shramana philosophy in general and Buddhist thought in particular have deeply influenced the making of the Indian Constitution. Now we will explore how these ideas of the spiritual concept of Buddhism, how the philosophy, how its principles of equality and egalitarianism have influenced the making of the Indian Constitution. So we are reflecting these ideas and on the process of framing of the Indian Constitution. Now, Buddha in his first sermon at Sarnath, strongly emphasizes and instructs his 5 disciples to work for the sake of humanity, brotherhood, and happiness. The philosophy of the first sermon is seen and interpreted as Bahujan Hitai, Bahujan Sukhai, which is for the welfare and happiness of many, especially the oppressed, the marginalized, and the downtrodden. It is believed that Buddha did not name a successor as he neared the end of his life. He did not consider himself a leader, but someone who had understood the truth of the universe. He suggested his followers should live by the Dhamma, which are his teachings about this truth. So Dhamma is not, if you can interpret Dhamma as a religion, it is not strictly true, but it was a spiritual order. It was a truth. It was a law which actually Buddha talked about, the righteousness.
Excitement.
So please unmute your...
Mr. Venugopal, please mute your mic. Okay, sir, continues.
So it is believed that, I mean to say, the Buddha suggested his followers should live by the Dhamma, which are his teachings about this truth, the truth of the universe. Therefore, the Buddhist Sangha, the community of monks and nuns, was created to support each other in living according to the Dhamma. The Buddha advocated that any form of the governance may be good if it functions on the democratic spirit, keeping in view the welfare of its subjects. This is very important because if you look at the organization of the Sangha, it was run on the democratic principles, where every monk has an equal right there. The Buddha implemented this democratic principle in the organization of his Sangha. It was a model democratic community or society purely based on democratic norms. Within the Sangha, Buddha was also a common member, and there were no special privileges fixed for him. All the monks of the Sangha were treated equally. But depending on seniority or admission of ordination, there was a slight difference in the status of monks. Within this fraternity, all the decisions were taken employing vote, and problems were settled by debates, opinions, and consensus. In this way, the Buddhist Sangha served as a model of social equality, sharing of resources, and democratic process. It could be said that the Buddhist Sangha was truly a secular and democratic institution. So this is the first of its kind institution in the ancient India during 500 BC, actually. Dr. Ambedkar was inspired by his experiences of caste discrimination and his desire to fight injustice. He believed in social democracy, which he defined as a way of life based on liberty, equality, and fraternity. That is a brotherhood. This perhaps is the reason why the chairman of the drafting committee preferred the democratic form of government in order to present stable and good governance. The democratic system also provides equal opportunities and protects the rights of citizens. Dr. Ambedkar in the Constitution Assembly stated that when he presented his final draft, he stated that although justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity are the result of the French Revolution. Let no one, however, say that I have borrowed my philosophy from the French Revolution. I have not. I have derived them from the teachings of my master, the Buddha. I found that his teaching was democratic to the core. So Dr. Ambedkar has clearly mentioned that his concept of equality, his concept of justice, his concept of liberty and fraternity were not borrowed from the French Revolution, but he was profoundly inspired by the teaching of Buddha. And he revealed for the first time that his master was Buddha. I mean, he was inspired by the teachings of the Dhamma. So I believe that inspiration came during the framing of the Constitution and draft in 1950, actually. The idea of secularism in the preamble of the Constitution, as added later by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, is akin to the concept of dharma nirapekshata. Dharma nirapekshata, that is the impartiality of the state to religion. Secularism is based on the idea that people should be treated equally, regardless of their religious beliefs. It is based on the idea that religion should not influence or be involved in the organization of society, education, and government. And what we are seeing now, it is absolutely opposite to this particular concept, this particular spirit of the Constitution, that we are secular. The Supreme Court of India, in the case of Bommai versus Union of India, elaborated the meaning of secularism. The court said secularism means equal treatment of all religions. The court held that the word secular, which was inserted in the preamble of the Constitution by the 42nd Amendment, highlights the fundamental rights guaranteed in Articles 25th to 28th. So you can see that the term secularism has of immense significance, which is enshrined in the preamble of the Indian Constitution. So, because the secularism connotes the fundamental rights of its citizens. The idea of secularism also resembles the teaching of Buddhism. In fact, Buddhism is widely considered as a spiritual order, and it teaches tolerance as a way of life. A secular person is one who does not owe his moral values to any religion. His values are the product of his rational and scientific thinking. So this is the meaning of secularism or dharma nirapekshata according to Buddhist tenets. That a secular person is one who does not owe Yeah, Rekha. Hello. I'm in the lecture. Please, you can join in. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, there was a call from. So what I'm talking about the idea of secularism also resembles the teachings of Buddhism. In fact, Buddhism is widely considered as a spiritual order, and it teaches tolerance as a way of life. A secular person is one who does not owe his moral values. Please unmute your audio.
Continues.
So a secular person is one who does not owe his moral values to any religion. His values are the product of his rational and scientific thinking. According to Buddha, the Dhamma has nothing to do with God and soul. According to Buddha, the Dhamma, his idea of Dhamma has nothing to do with God and soul. His Dhamma is a principle of life and living. Hence, the Buddhist philosophy and practices are secular in nature. The concept of nirapekshata of Buddha can also be equated with the principles of natural justice. In this context, the Indian judiciary also applies the principle of impartiality while delivering justice. Buddha is not concerned about life after death. He observed a world full of sufferings, and to remove this suffering, he founded the path of Dhamma. If the principle of governance is founded upon the path of righteousness and the path of moral value, it will bring an end to all sufferings, and in this manner, the principle of governance may be founded upon Dhamma. So you can see the relevance of Buddha's secularism or nirpekshata, his scientific understanding of life, his rational thinking, and how these principles were incorporated, not directly, but were inspired. The framers of the Constitution were inspired by these ideas, by his philosophy, by these tenets, and incorporated in the governance structure of the Indian Constitution. So the principle of governance may be founded upon Dhamma. Hence, secularism is an expression of tolerance, non-violence, and a path of peace, which gets its validation from Buddha. So we have seen how secularism can be expression of tolerance, because Buddha talks about tolerance of all races and all castes and all religious beliefs. And so his monastic order, the Sangha, was open to all people, irrespective of their caste, irrespective of their identities, racial identities, and their beliefs. So his expression of tolerance, non-violence, that is a compassion, and a path of peace, which gets its validation from Buddha. So all these ideas of secularism in the Indian Constitution, I believe that they're quite profoundly inspired by the teachings of Buddha. The spirit of the Indian Constitution also reflects the philosophy of Bahujan Hitai, Bahujan Sukhai. That is the welfare of many, happiness of many.
కొంచెం మ్యూట్ లో పెట్టుకుంటారా ఫోన్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళు.
ఉబ్బని వెంకట గారు మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి ప్లీజ్. ఉబ్బని వెంకట గారు ప్లీజ్ మ్యూట్. Okay, sir, continues.
So the spirit of the Indian Constitution also reflects the philosophy of Bahujan Hitai, Bahujan Sukhai. That is the welfare of many, happiness of many, ensured through the form of directive principles of state policy. Directive principle of state policy is a very important constituent of the Indian Constitution. directive principles of the state policy, which are often termed as instrument of instructions, vested in Part 4 of the Constitution from Articles 36 to 51, where the directive principle of the state policy are enumerated. The Constitution of India provides a set of instructions to establish a welfare state by securing social and economic justice, by minimizing the inequalities in income, as well as inequalities in status and opportunity. So you can imagine the concept of Bahujan Hitay and Bahujan Sukhai was enshrined in the Indian Constitution through the directive principle of state policy, because the framers of the Constitution wanted India to be a welfare state. And they wanted to provide social and economic justice to all the citizens by minimizing the inequalities in income, as well as inequalities in status and opportunity. So you can imagine the philosophy of Buddha is relevant in every section of the Indian Constitution, in terms of preamble, in terms of secularism, in terms of rights of citizens, in terms of equality, in terms of directive principles of state policy, in terms of the fundamental rights of citizens, in terms of the fundamental duties also. What are the obligations of the citizens and the duties? So all these aspects of the Indian Constitution, I think, reflect the teachings and the philosophy of Buddha. Unlike popular perception, Buddhism has not remained confined to the boundaries of religion and spiritualism alone. It has influenced politics and governance in a big way. How Buddhism has influenced politics and governance in a big way? Because all the fundamental aspects of the Constitution of India, notably the fundamental rights, the directive principles of state policy, and the fundamental duties, show a more profound influence of Buddhism. Hence, Buddha's teachings can be summed up in one word, that is Dhamma. The Dhamma enshrines all the truth of the universe. It also means law, the law which exists in a man's own heart and mind, and also in the universe. It is a principle of righteousness and moral virtue which has successfully influenced us and has been incorporated in the Constitution of India. So you can see how Buddha's Dhamma has found relevance in the making of the Constitution. Because his Dhamma was not only the spiritual truth, it was also the law which exists in a man's own heart and mind, and also in the universe. So Dhamma has got a very profound relevance in the Constitution in terms of the framing of the Constitution. Buddha was the first social emancipator who gave women equal and unfettered opportunities in the field of spiritual development. Buddha was the first social emancipator who gave women equal and unfettered opportunities in the field of spiritual development. He truly paved the way for women to lead a full moral, spiritual, and religious life. He admitted women into the Buddhist monastic order, that is his Sangha. Buddha was truly a revolutionary social reformer. So you can see how Buddhism has encompassed all spheres of a living, actually, and the rights of every citizen, whether they're men or women. Buddhism has equal concern for all its citizens. So that's the reason Buddha has created his Sangha to be socially equitable, full of empathy, egalitarianism, and brotherhood. So his Sangha was truly a democratic institution where men and women, even the laymen, could also be a part of his Sangha in terms of laity. So for the first time, Buddha admitted women as nuns in the Sangha. Buddha's concept of ahimsa, or non-harming, or non-violence, is also seen in the India's national flag. The white stripe in the middle of the flag embeds peace and compassion. The Ashok Chakra was included in the middle of the national flag of India. The chakra intends to show that there is life in movement and death in stagnation. The chakra intends to show that there is life in movement and death in stagnation. It is also said that the 24 spokes of the Ashok Chakra align with the 24 qualities of a Buddhist follower, as defined by the Buddha in his sermons. The lion capital, a Buddhist symbol that became India's national emblem. Buddhism, even Pandit Nehru's Panchashil, was also deeply influenced by the Buddhist concept of peace and brotherhood. So Buddhism has pervaded the entire Indian ethos and Indian life in all its glory. And that's the reason Buddhism is accepted as a social reform movement with a philosophical order, or Dhamma, that more than 700 million people currently practice worldwide. The Asia-Pacific region is home to almost 98% of the global Buddhist population. However, Buddhist population in North America, Europe, the Middle East, and Africa are projected to increase in coming decades, as per these research done by various American organizations. In fact, there are major centers and Buddhist societies in most large cities throughout the America, USA, and major European countries for the study of Zen, for the study of Tibetan Buddhism, and the more classical Theravada Buddhism. In addition to its impact on personal beliefs and practices, Buddhism has also influenced social and political movements around the world. In many countries, Buddhist monks have played a prominent role in advocating for human rights, liberty, equality, peace, and environmental protection. In many countries, Buddhist monks have played a prominent role in advocating for human rights, liberty, equality, peace, and environmental protection. In Myanmar, for example, Buddhist monks have been at the forefront of the pro-democracy movement and have been instrumental in calling for an end to human rights abuses and the restoration of democracy in Myanmar. Similarly, in Sri Lanka, Buddhist leaders have spoken out against ethnic and religious violence and have worked to promote interfaith harmony and reconciliation. So these are some of the examples how Buddhist monks have played a very vital role in bringing peace in various countries and amongst the various ethnic groups. In his seminal work and magnum opus, The Buddha and His Dhamma, which Dr. Ambedkar began to write in 1951, completed in 1954, but published posthumously in 1957. His magnum opus, his great book called The Buddha and His Dhamma, was published after his death in 1957, where Dr. Ambedkar reinterpreted the core metaphysical and religious doctrines of Buddhism, made them more simplistic, and presented the Dhamma as a vehicle of social transformation. So you can see even Dr. Ambedkar has reinterpreted Buddhism, not only the spiritual order, but as a movement of social transformation. So Buddhism has encompassed both the spiritual sphere as well as the social sphere. Dr. Ambedkar reinterpreted the core metaphysical and religious doctrines of Buddhism, made them more simplistic, and presented the Buddhist Dhamma as a vehicle of social transformation. His emphasis on the social engagement of Buddhism is largely considered by historians and scholars as path-breaking, modernistic, and an enlightened movement of social emancipation. So we have seen how these ideas of social emancipation, social egalitarianism, social equality was borrowed immensely from the Buddhist philosophy and Buddhist ideas, and were reinterpreted by various scholars. Dr. Ambedkar was he was deep.
Sir, please unmute your mic, sir. Ravi, sir, please unmute your mic. Yes, sir.
Can I read again this paragraph?
Yes, sir.
This is the last paragraph. In his seminal work and magnum opus, The Buddha in His Dhamma, Dr. Ambedkar reinterpreted the core metaphysical and religious doctrines of Buddhism, made them more simplistic, and presented the Dhamma as a vehicle of social transformation. His emphasis on the social engagement of Buddhism is largely considered by historians and scholars as path-breaking, modernistic, and an enlightened movement of social emancipation. His Navayana was a reformulation of Buddhism as a scientific religion, a philosophy of optimism based on the tenets of liberty, equality, and fraternity. So his Navayana Buddhism was a reformulation of the Buddhism as a scientific religion, a philosophy of optimism based on the tenets of liberty, equality, and fraternity. And the Buddha in his Dhamma, Dr. Ambedkar writes, the Buddha did not promise to give salvation. The Buddha did not promise to give salvation. He claimed himself to be a Margadatta, the wayfinder, and not Mokshadatta, the giver of salvation. Buddha was the crusader and the pathfinder. Buddha was the crusader and the pathfinder who rocked the system of caste discrimination to its foundations, and even initiated and admitted the low and the lowly, the oppressed, the suppressed, and the fallen into his Dhamma. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Excellent message. The total, your presentation, highly inspiring, and it is showing a good path to everybody. How this Buddhism, the Buddhist principles and all to be taken into our life. In one word or a single point, all aspects of our constitution have got reflections of Buddhism. This is so almost all, whatever you got now, all these aspects of Indian constitution have this reflections of Buddhism. So this is the excellent message, sir. Another point is now there is a message for all the viewers also, listeners also. There are now two documents available for us. One is Indian Constitution, another is Buddha and his Dhamma. The Buddha is Dhamma, the idea of Buddha is Dhamma is a social transformation. That was the expectation of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. So now we have our responsibilities to take these two documents, the important documents are these valuable messages. One is Constitution, other is Buddha and is Dhamma. These two should go to our minds, our hearts, and now we have to live up to the expectations of Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar. This is, I think, now responsibility. After your lecture, the responsibility now is with all of us. That is one point. Your coverage total Buddhist teachings, how this democratic setup, the equality principle or egalitarian society and secularism and the need of governance. What we see the present government, the governance is nothing, we don't find any Dhamma in that governance. Whatever Emperor Ashoka he has shown in his administration, this Dhamma, nowadays that is missing. That is the problem now we are facing, and the entire country and citizens are facing. So your message, whatever is said, Bahujan Hitaya, Bahujan Sukhaya, that is one concept that is worked out. That is one message. But the Constitution, how it is directed, the rulers also, through that directive principles of state policy, to establish a welfare state. Actually, this welfare state is in Buddhism. Bhagavan Buddha has taught always that a human being, well-being of a human being. Only one sentence he used to say while talking, while doing, while practicing, the well-being of a human being only. Bhagavan Buddha was giving the message. So even though we got our directive principles for the rulers to be followed and implemented to relieve the pain of the people, that is missing now. So this how to attend, this is a big question. Now we request all the participants, if you have any questions or clarifications, that take the message from our Honorable Ravi Bankar sir. So you are requested to ask your questions one by one. First you take the permission, then you start.
Sir, can I ask a small query, sir?
Sure.
I am Shivanagrid. Sir.
Sir, welcome, sir. Shivanagrid, sir.
One small thing.
Okay, sir. No. The permission is only 2 people should not ask. That is only the condition. Otherwise, everybody is welcome. Okay, sir. Over to Shivanagrid, sir.
Yes, sir. Ravi Bankar, sir, it is a great opportunity for me particularly to listen to your wonderful talk. And today, sir, I feel that such discussions should be held in almost all the educational institutions where our torch bearers should be given this type of information, sir, at their tender age, young age. Otherwise, what happens is they are not at all informed. They don't know that Baba Sahib's contribution in drafting a wonderful crafting. I call it as a crafting, not drafting. Otherwise, Indian constitution could have been in a different way, and we are saved with this constitution. Then my query to you, sir, is: was there any objection from the drafting committee members when Baba Sahib has proposed has taken various aspects of Buddhism and infused into what we call the clauses and subclauses of Constitution of India? We all are proud of it. So, was there any objection from any member of the drafting committee?
Actually, there were some objections from the orthodox elements, you know. But Dr. Ambedkar was supported by a lot of secular people like Pandit Nehru, you know.
Yes, sir.
And the others.
Salute to Nehruji.
So he was backed up by a very powerful person like Mr. Nehru,
Yes, sir.
and who has given him absolute complete freedom to frame to draft the constitution, the first
Very
document
good.
actually.
Sir.
But there were a lot of opposition in terms of orthodox ideas, because various members wanted to put some orthodoxical ideas in the constitution. But these are some of the observations, I believe. Actually.
Yes, sir. Very nice of you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question slightly away from the constitution.
Yes.
Okay.
Since you talked of governance, sir.
Yeah.
What principles of governance, for example, today in a capitalist world, they are driven by corporates, and corporates are getting very powerful, and they are kind of dictating what the governments do.
That's right.
So are there any lessons that corporates can learn on equity, on whatever principles from the Dhamma that you talked about?
Actually, the concept of governance, and the Buddha talked, he not only talked, but he implemented it in the organization of his Sangha, the monastic order which is created, where every monk was equal. And there were a voting system, there were opinions, there were consensus, there were some conflicts, but then everything was taken care of by the consensus, So every monk was equal in terms of its rights in that particular social order, which we call Sangha. That is monastic order, actually. So I think it was run on the democratic principles. So that was the concept, that was the idea which was inherited by the framers of the Constitution, how the Indian Republic should be governed as a democratic country. Of course, they borrowed this idea from England, where the first democracy, the first parliament was established. And second thing, his liberalism, actually, the liberalism in terms of secular, because see, the Buddhist monastic order or the congregation, you can say that, was not very rigid, actually. It was very liberal, and it was very secular. People from all walks of life, all communities and all beliefs, they could join his monastic order. And even women were admitted. In fact, women were shunned in all congregations. So Buddha was the first person, who admitted women as nuns in the Sangha. So you can say that he was a revolutionary social reformer. Not only the spiritual leader, but he was also a social revolutionary as a theorist, who propounded the theories of equality, not in words, but in action. So I think even the corporate could borrow a lot of ideas. For example, the constitution of the monastic order, the compassion and the brotherhood which showed by the Sangha members, the monks amongst each other, and the empathy. Empathy is understanding of others, actually. So it was not only the equality concept, but also empathy. You empathize with others in terms of understanding his problems, his concerns, his ideas. So that was a great revolutionary step in the organization of the Sangha, where brotherhood, where compassion, where the peaceful existence and the empathy were the distinguishing factors by which all monks and all other people who supported the Sangha used to conduct themselves. So I believe that if you read the Buddha and his Dhamma by Dr. Ambedkar, he has simplified these doctrines and created a very beautiful, very fluid, and very lyrical interpretation of Buddhism. So I think even not only the corporates, but even the social organizations, even the other religious organizations, NGOs, because I work for the Rotary Club. I'm the director of the Rotary Club. Even the Rotary clubs can also learn from the, or they can be inspired by Buddhism. Thank you.
Sir, next, any questions, sir?
Mr. Rajesh Rao.
Sir.
I'm Dhananjay this side.
Okay, Dhananjay, please continue.
I have no question, but I like to supplement a few points.
Okay.
For this presentation purpose, because it would be more appropriate if we can really, correlate some of the articles which relates to both Buddhism and even our constitution also. For example, if you take from the directive principles, Article 39, A and B, they speak about ownership and control of the natural resources of community. If we go back to the Buddhism, Buddha in those declared that every natural property belongs to all the human beings, and that is the reason he said that all people have to one equally, and that is that principle Baba Sahib has inducted in our constitution and Article 39. And if you take Article 45 also, free education up to the children for the children up to the high school. So Buddha has definitely given this opportunity in the form of Sangha. He has given equal opportunity for everybody. And if you take this, if you look into the Article 48A, this talks about production of improvement and safeguarding the forest and wildlife. And this very practically we have seen in the case of Ashoka. He has taken this as a very challenging task, and he has given rather took measures to protect the wildlife as well as even safeguarding the forest. This, in fact, today it is our need of the hour, which Dr. Baba Sahib put in our constitution. We are seeing everywhere due to the global warm-up, a country of a part or some part is burning here and there because of the global warming and because of the deforestation. And these articles, whatever has been inducted in the constitution, I sincerely feel that these are not meant for only putting in the constitution, but
please conclude, Danesh.
Yeah. Let me say that. These are the things which Baba Sahib has taken from the Buddhism teachings. I am not talking about the constitution. I am not expert in it, but I am trying only to say that Baba Sahib adopted this constitution out of Buddhism, even regarding the international peace by arbitration. All the disputes have to be resolved. So this I like to just add. I am not questioning Bankar Saab's presentation. It was a wonderful presentation, and it's a good opportunity for all of us given by Mullappally Lakshmaya. Thank you very much.
I think there is no question, but I would like to suggest the Dhananjaya, whatever the correlation of Buddhism and the constitution, point to point, that can be the next lecture that we can talk to Sri Mullappally Lakshmaya sir, and that will be more specific, point to point. We can have another study. That I think that is my.
Anyway, we are going to 2-3 lectures on the constitution and Buddhism. Then very important thing is I don't want to go in detail, but if you take in the Constituent Assembly debates, so many times Nehru also told in 2 times. One is the resolution, second is national flag resolution, then emblem also. It's a, all of you know these are two emblem and national flag in Dhammachakra is a very important influence, direct influence Buddhism and Constitution. Another thing is, rightly you said, every point of thing. I think Professor Santosh Rawat from Harvard, he agreed to give another lecture, 2 lectures on Constitution. That's why my request is to you, please ask our people to attend these type of lectures. We cannot have available or this thing anytime. It's not possible. Every time it's not possible. That if our effort should be utilized by our people, that's it will also encourage to this type of lectures. These lectures going up to November 26, 2025, even 2026, January 26. We are planning to 75 lectures, 75 years of Indian Constitution. This is the idea, these lectures. That's why we are going to have every week 2 lectures, Saturday and Sunday, same time, 7 o'clock. That's why so many topics is coming. So many people are very important. Even foreign contributors also will come to this Zoom meeting. Please utilize, please attend, and these all lectures are also will be available in YouTube. Even you can take, you can put name Buddhism and Constitution will come the lecture. You can also circulate those videos also. If there is no questions, we can conclude. If any suggestions, any ideas you have, please let us know. Not if not now, you can also send me WhatsApp to me, and thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, vote of thanks.
Please.
Good evening, sir. Lakshmi sir.
Kaulesh Kumar, please. Kaulesh Kumar is our General Secretary of ABTO.
Hello, Kaulesh.
Kaulesh, please बात कर लीजिए.
हाँ कॉलेज बोलिए.
Okay. Not a problem. Sir, please conclude, Ayeshwar.
So, thank you very much, all the participants. We are really happy to see all of you here. Now, it is organizing a meeting is a very difficult task, identifying the faculty and organizing these lectures. Now, if more people can attend, then more people can take the message, then the purpose of this organization will be fulfilled. So everybody, I request all the members, whoever joined today, see that the next time they come along with another person, and we continue to listen to these messages and get clarifications ourselves, and we let us have a potential living in this society.
Rao sir, can I give one suggestion, please? One small
Please,
suggestion.
Kaulesh, please, we are asking, sir. You are not...
Ambedkar ji is not only for Constitution and Buddhism. He is just you can say Ravi sir and Lakshmi sir English is very good. वो एक मोटिवेशनल भी है, हर लोगों के लिए है, चाहे वो फॉरवर्ड हो, बैकवर्ड हो, दलित हो, क्योंकि उन्होंने बहुत संघर्ष, उनका 3 नारा लगता है, हमने पढ़ा है बहुत बार, संघर्ष करो, शिक्षित बनो, संगठित हो. तो ये तीनों का मतलब ये सारे लोग यूज करते हैं, यूनाइटेड हो रहे हैं सब. उसके बाद क्या हो रहा है, एजुकेटेड हो रहे हैं. पहले जो जितने एजुकेटेड, पहले क्या जो अपर क्लास के थे उसमें भी इलिटरेट पीपल थे, लेकिन उन्होंने भी सोचा कि नहीं भाई शिक्षा का महत्व है. फिर उसके बाद क्या है कि सब अपने अपने हक मांग रहे हैं. आज तो ऐसा हो रहा है कि जो फॉरवर्ड क्लास, अपर क्लास के हैं, उनको दे आर ऑल्सो गेटिंग द रिजर्वेशन. due to the Ambedkar ji. So Ambedkar ji is not only for the constitution, not only for the Buddhism, not for the social. He is the for a lesson for the world, not only for the India. Why we are looking only for India? No, every people, everyone, America, London, all the, and you know the name of the library of Ambedkar ji is a Rajgira. I am from Rajgira, sir. You see, Rajgira means the abode of the king. And I think the library of Ambedkar is abode of the books, the bank of the books. So my request to all persons, Ambedkar ji is not only for the Buddhism, Jainism, religion, or constitution. No, he is a really great human being and inspirational, just like a Birsa Munda, uh, other, and so every point we can listen, we can learn from Ambedkar ji. सो यही मेरा कहना था सर कि उनके हर एक एक स्टेप को हम लोगों को सीखने की जरूरत है। नॉट ओनली हम कि वो संविधान के खाली निर्माता थे, वो हर गुण से थे। देखिए उतने दलित होते हुए भी कितने कोर्स किए जो आज के बड़े बड़े लोग नहीं जानते हैं। उस कोर्स से हम अरविंद केजरीवाल का एक भाषण सुन रहे थे, कैसे कैसे उन्होंने पता लगाया कि ये कहाँ कोर्स है, कैसे कैसे है। बस सर यही सर, क्योंकि कंक्लूजन का समय है सर, यही मैं सजेशन देना चाह रहा हूं सर। और आप लोगों का वेलकम है बिहार में सर, कभी भी आइए इंडिया में। और हमारा एसोसिएशन, लक्ष्मिया जी प्रेसिडेंट है, मोर देन 35 कंट्री में हमारा एसोसिएशन है सर। तो कहीं भी कोई भी कंट्री में किसी तरह का कंट्रीब्यूशन चाहिए, हम लोगों को यूनाइटेड नेशन में भी बुलाया गया विशाख में, तो सर हम लोग तैयार है सर। लक्ष्मिया सर हमारे गार्जियन है सर। थैंक यू वेरी मच राव साहब।
Thank you, Kavalesh. Thank you, Kavalesh.
Okay, thank you very much. We once again we thank our today's speaker, respected Ravi Bankarji, who has given an excellent message to us. Very smooth message. It has entered the minds. So we, on behalf of all the participants, I thank Mr. Ravi Bankarji, and also we thank Sri Mallepalli Lakshmi garu, chairman of the CDS, who has organized this lectures, and for participating everybody. We thank all the participants for taking this interest to join. So next time also we request you to join. Whenever there is a program, we will communicate to you. You please join along with your friends with this, and we thank the organizers of the total this Zoom meeting. Thank you very much, sir. Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much to all, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a great opportunity to attend this program. Lakshmi garu and Ravi Bankar, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Rajan sir, thank you very much. Suresh garu, thank you very much. Dr. Nagaya garu.
Thank you, Raishwara garu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, రేపు మీరు ఏదన్నా టైం వీలైతే ఒకసారి రేపు మాట్లాడండి.
Okay, sir. Right, sir. We'll close. వేణుగోపాల్ గారు, ధనంజయ్ గారు, అందరు కూడా థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you, Lakshmi garu.
రాజన్ సార్, బాయ్ బాయ్ సార్. మనం క్లోజ్ చేసుకోవటమే మనమే. సురేంద్ర గారు, మీ తెలుగు గీతం వస్తూ ఉన్నది, డిస్ప్లే వస్తూ ఉన్నది.
సార్